It's Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti.
Okay, so I told you at the start of the season, every year is going to be the same. It's very difficult the first 2 weeks. No data points, no idea. You're searching in the dark. You're knocking over a bottle of water on the nightstand. Now we have data. We are back. Back-to-back 9-4s for me. Boomer with an 8-5 this week. Now we're starting to roll. So we're at the quarter pole. We have some data. And I will tell you, this is the most difficult card thus far of the season.
You know, is it really? When you sent me the card and I looked at it, I just basically started circling who I thought was going to be able to cover or who was going to be able to win, whatever. And to me, there was only really one game that I was struggling with. But I convinced myself before the show today that I now know where to go, and I feel very comfortable about that particular team. So I didn't feel that it was that difficult when I was looking at the teams and the games.
I mean, okay. Hello. We have a
very
prideful, a very arrogant Mr. Esiason today. Eddie, let's get to the pick, shall we?
Picks of the week.
All right, let's do it. Little tea and crumpets for the kids. We're going to London. Bills laying 5.5, hosting the Jags.
So the Bills do have problems in their secondary. There's no question about that. But Josh Allen, the last 3 weeks, this is MVP Josh Allen. He's not turning the ball over. They're running the football. He has been playing almost picture-perfect football since week one. And after week one against the Jets, he was pissed off. And they were interviewing him after the next game against the Raiders, and all he was talking about was playing quarterback the way it was supposed to be played. I'm laying the points, and I'm taking the Bills, Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you. It flies in the face of what I normally would do. I know the Jags have been there all week, but the Bills look like they're rounding in the form, and you can't fix Jacksonville's O-line in a week. It's bad, and that ain't Desmond Ridder getting off the bus.
And
it's Josh Allen.
That's exactly right. And this is also a defensive line that should get Von Miller back in this game.
Yes. I'm going to go Bills.
Okay.
All right. This is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. A week ago, Sunday night, Dolphins opened up as 4.5-point favorites over the Giants. They are now 12-point favorites over the Giants, and I don't know that the number's big enough.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm taking the Dolphins. This is one of the ones where I was wondering whether or not the Giants were going to actually show up and play in this game. But, man, for 4 games, straight games, the Giants' offense has been putrid. Their defense has been a sieve. They haven't gotten any turnovers. They've given up the ball 8 times. The speed on the Dolphins against these rookie defensive backs for the Giants is not a great matchup.
It's also, look, schematically, if you're going to stop Tua, you have to pressure him and move him off his spot, and you got to do it with 4, not 5, not 6, or in the case of Wink Martindale, all 11. How would the Giants, even in a hypothetical world, slow them down?
Yeah, I don't know. The one team that did kind of slow them down, now, of course, Buffalo did last week, but that's because of the way that Josh Allen played. You have to slow them down with your offense. In other words, you got to be able to keep pace with their offense, which – unfortunately for the Giants defense, it's one of the worst in the league. It's like either 30th, 31st in total yards given up, points given up. It's like 31st or 32nd. I mean, it has all the trappings of a complete and utter blowout. And listen, I hope I'm wrong because I work in New York. I cover these Giants. I'd like to see them show something, but there has been no life to this franchise over the last 4 weeks, and I think the life got knocked out of them by the Dallas Cowboys.
I hope they go 1-16 and draft Caleb Williams. I quit. Dolphins. By the way, 8% of bets and only 4% of the money on the New York Giants.
Oof.
This is a nightmare. I don't want to do this because this is where the book wins, but I'm with you. I can't make a case.
Well, you could always veto this pick if you'd like later on.
Oh, there's a chance I do.
Okay.
Let's go Ravens laying 4. They are at the Steelers.
This is gut punch time for the Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin in situations like this.
He's a monster.
He is a monster in this. He has just a way. Now, this is interesting for the Ravens because they're starting to get healthy. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be back for this game. I think Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, is going to be back. And maybe, just maybe, Lamar can actually run less and throw more as opposed to the way that he's been playing. Do you know if the Baltimore Ravens win this game, they'll have swept all 3 road games in the division, which would be amazing. Mm-hmm. I think Tomlin gets his boys going, and I think that Trubisky's going to be the starting quarterback, and it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Here's the issue for me. Lamar's a favorite is awful. The underdog in this series, and I had it in my notes. I don't know where it went. I think the underdog in this series, the last 28 matchups, is 25-3.
This is a testosterone game. You know that, right? This is like these teams hate each other.
Oh, it's brutal.
Coaches probably can't stand each other. I mean, this just gets about as physical and as nasty as it gets in the NFL.
Did you see what Patrick Queen said? How Tomlin was barking at him when he was a rookie. You're not a Raven. You're not good enough to be a Raven. And how all these years later he's still using it as motivation. Oh, these teams hate each other.
Yeah, this is why it's an awesome football game, but low scoring, nasty, and I'm going to take the Steelers in the points.
I'll go Ravens because I think the Steelers stink, but this has got veto written all over it for me. Saints in a pick'em against the Pats.
All right, we were just talking about the Pats in the previous segment. This is an opportunity for them to get right. They were embarrassed last week. Mac Jones had an awful week. He was benched. I don't care what Bill Belichick said. He was so frustrated with him. And very rarely are you able to see the frustration on Belichick's face. I saw it last week against the Dallas Cowboys. This has been a long week for Mac Jones. I know this team is decimated by injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but I don't see anything from the offense of the Saints. I thought that they were going to be so much better at this point, and they were embarrassed last week by the Bucs. So I'll take the Patriots here.
How do you throw 13 passes to Alvin Kamara for 33 total yards? Do you know in the history of the NFL, for a player who's ever caught 13 passes, that is not only the lowest yardage total, it is the lowest by over half. The next lowest in the history was 13 catches for 78 yards.
How's the Derek Carr thing working out for the Saints right now?
Look at me. I'm
just asking you. I'm like the Giants.
He does have one arm currently.
He does.
When your quarterback is wearing, quote, protective gear on his shoulder, that's not optimal.
Then let Jameis play.
Okay, then. I'll take the Pats. Lions laying 10.5, hosting the Panthers, and let me give Boomer some stuff here.
Okay.
99% sure. No Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Brian Branch. Don't know if it affects what you're doing, just throwing it your way.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for that update. I just don't see the Panthers scoring a lot on the Lions defense. I think the Lions defense has shown up the last couple of weeks. I could see this being like a 30-14 game. That's what I see this as. And, I know that you're going to probably go against me, but I'm going to lay the points and I'm going to take the home Lions. They are on a roll right now, by the way.
I know they are. And they're good, Boomer. They're
very good.
They're built right. They're good. Tepid Panthers. I really am worried about Bryce Young. And I know we'll talk a little bit later. The game just looks way too fast for him, and we'll talk.
He's into his fourth game here.
Listen,
just remember, he missed one already with an injury, and I think that injury probably he could have played, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just wanted him to sit down and watch.
Yeah, well, that's my. I don't know that he's ready, but whatever. We'll talk later. Panthers, Atlanta hosting the Texans, who are on fire. Atlanta laying 2.
Give me the Texans, man. I'm gonna,
Wow.
they are all over. DeMeco Ryans, they love him as a coach. I think there's a real, I don't know, just seems like momentum there. There was momentum, I thought, with Atlanta coming into the season because of Bijan Robinson and everybody else. But for whatever reason, DeMeco Ryans has got his defense playing tough, and they got a young quarterback that is seeing the field. So I'm going to stick with the Texans here.
This is a buy low, sell high for me. Okay. I got to get off the Texans train. This is Artie Party back against the wall. That was a clown car last week, and I understand. I'm betting on Desmond Ridder. It's horrific. I got to take Atlanta.
He is struggling, man.
He needs to be benched. You make the call. I know you know Art. Call him.
I do, but I don't know him that well to be able to say that. As well as I know Frank Reich, I can't call him and say, play Andy Dalton. I can't do that.
This is Nassau County Hall of Famer Boomer Esiason calling. Desmond Ridder sucks. All right.
That's you. That's like AI me, right? I mean, I guess so.
Bad Tiki?
Yeah, bad Tiki. Yeah.
Titans -2.5 at the Colts. This game's gone all the way across, by the way. Colts opened up -1.5. All the way to the other side with the Titans.
I think everybody likes the Titans here just simply because of what they did to the Bengals last week. Mm-hmm. That was a pretty good performance by them, especially defensively. I mean, I know the offense was good, and Ryan Tannehill is never going to put up 40 points. That just is not
how
the way
they're built.
That's not how they play. Tight game, really, really tight game. I like the fact that, the Titans feel like they're rolling again, and I do like Vrabel on the road in this game. He'll get the best out of his team.
And I like him up front. They're going to be able to hold up to that Colts O-line, and I think that if you're asking Anthony Richardson to do it all, I have a problem with that. I'm going to go Titans here. Now, this one, let's see if we can get Boomer let
Not a
loyalties...
chance. Not a chance in hell.
No. Okay.
Not a chance in hell.
Bengals laying 3 at Arizona.
I'll be quick about this. Just give me the Bengals. And I'm taking the Bengals because, I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. I believe in that guy. He has led this team for 2 years in a row and out of bad situations, adverse situations, bad offensive lines. He actually came out and said he's about 98% healthy now with that calf injury, which should open up this offense. The defense hasn't really been the problem. It's been the offense, and I think they'll get on track today, or I say Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Give me the Bengals.
I don't know how I could take the Bengals right now.
Don't take them then.
I'm not coming at you. Boomer, they're terrible. I know he's been hurt, but Boomer, they're awful. They're not just – look at these games. Even their win, 19-16. What is this, 1985?
Probably no T. Higgins for the Bengals in this game as well.
And I know you're going to laugh. I understand Arizona's bad. Jonathan Gannon's done a really nice job.
He's got him playing hard. There's no question about that.
When you really look back at it, too, Boomer, they could have beat Washington, should have beat the Giants. And I know it's not a woulda, coulda, I'm just saying, for a team with a win total of 3.5, been very, very good. And this Drew Petzing calling the offense, how they're doing this with Josh Dobbs, it's amazing.
God bless him. The one thing I will say is Jamar Chase is probably going to have a huge game here.
Yes.
This is a lot of talk and a lot of chatter around him.
What was his comment last week? I'm always bleeping open.
That's right. And just like, remember A.J. Brown was frustrated a couple weeks back?
And you pacify.
And what has he done the last 2 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles? That's what I see Jamar Chase doing here in this game.
I'm taking the worst in the number, but I'll take Arizona. Eagles laying 4.5 at the Rams. Oh, this is Cooper Kupp week.
That's why I'm taking the Rams.
That baby.
That's right. I'm taking the Rams.
Guy.
There you go. I see it. And now the question is Matthew Stafford going to be able to make it through the game with that hip injury? Look, they say he's been practicing. He's out there. He's beat up. But he gets Cooper Kupp back, and all of a sudden now you put him with Puka Nacua. You got guys running all over the place against this Eagle defense that's been giving up a lot of points and a lot of yards.
Young secondary.
Right. I will take the points, and I will take the home L.A. Rams.
He said it all. And look, I've said a lot of things about Stafford in my 20 years in Detroit. I've never questioned his toughness. He is tough as nails. He'll unless he's in a wheelchair, he's going to play.
That's right.
Chiefs laying 4.5 at Minnesota.
I don't like the way the Chiefs' offense is playing, and Patrick Mahomes came out this week and basically blamed himself. He said, we're playing the way we're playing on offense because of the way I am playing. That's what leaders do. That's what the richest guy in football should do. Take ownership of when your team is playing poorly and you make mistakes. He played the Jets much like Josh Allen played the Jets in week 1. Tried to give the game away. Josh Allen did. Unfortunately, Zach Wilson fumbles the ball, and he gave it away.
But I absolve Patrick Mahomes of all sins because he slid late and didn't ruin my bet of Jets plus 9.5. So thank you, Patrick.
All right, I'm not very happy about that because it did ruin my bet. So.
Man for the people. I'm taking the Vikings here.
You are, so am I.
I have to. Now, they'll lose. They'll do what the Vikings do. They'll blow that stupid horn, and they'll lose. But I'm taking them. Chiefs don't cover north of 3.
We're both taking the Vikings there.
Broncos
Stones.
laying 2, hosting the Jets. You know what to do.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets.
No. Boomer.
Yes.
Come on. The market is high on Wilson. You must sell.
I know, but here's why I'm taking the Jets. Let me just give you my sense. The Jets defense, 3 out of 4 games, has basically shut down the opposing team's offense and gotten turnovers. Unlike the Giants defense, who doesn't get any turnovers, when the Jets are playing and they're playing at their best, their defense gives their offense the football. If Sauce Gardner catches the ball against Dak Prescott against the Cowboys, that game's probably different. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't catch it, and all of a sudden the Jets fall back into this abyss. The Jets are the better team. They have the better players, and they have the best unit on the field going into this game, and that's their defense.
All right. Broncos, because it's gross, but I have to. 10 seconds or less because this game sucks. Raiders laying 1.5, hosting the Pack.
Who's playing quarterback for the Raiders?
Aiden O'Connell?
I'm taking the Packers.
You know what? Packers might stink. Jordan Love might stink.